Good morning. I've always been a fan of capitalism, but, and that's the rest of the story. First, let's get the housekeeping out of the way and show you where I stand on immigration. When I was a young kid, and I'm saying this right now to, I guess it's what's called Generation Z now, because they're young kids. I don't know what the old saying was. The world was my oyster or something like that. Back in them days, you could be anything you wanted to be as long as you were willing to work at it. Fast forward to today, these kids, they're graduating with the best degrees. They're not finding jobs. Not because the jobs don't exist, but because non-immigrant guest workers from other countries have been imported to take their jobs. And as they rose to management, they have made the decision to quit hiring Americans. Now, you can argue that it's happening or not. It doesn't matter to me. Because, trust me, those of us who have been through it, we know it's happening. But let's look at it in more detail. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's about 150, 160 million jobs in America. And we're not creating that many jobs anymore. And the ones we are, we're sending overseas, or we're importing a tidal wave of non-immigrant guest workers. To put it in perspective, last year we created 15,490 computer and math jobs. And we had something like 750,000 H-1B applications from other countries. And these H-1B guys, they don't apply for that job themselves. They are imported like cattle from other countries, primarily India. And 70% of them, if you look at the H-1B applications, 70% of them are for those computer and mathematics jobs. Now think about that. We create 15,000 and we want to try and stuff 700, 800,000 into that hole. Don't work, folks. That's how people like myself can't find work no more. But you need to think about it. 8 billion people want the jobs in America. 8 billion out of 150, 160 million. Let's say, Elon Musk, he says, I got to have the best and the brightest from the world all around. Okay, let's say we give in. Elon, we're going to give you 1% of the best and brightest that the world has to offer. That's something like 80 million people. If we allow him to pour to 80 million people, we just deprived 80 million Americans of jobs. I mean, you can't change basic math. If you got to find that job market and you got 160 million working and you import 80 million workers, you haven't created 80 million jobs. You just forced 80 million Americans, threw them under the bus and run over them with a damn freight train or something. Here the Americans are that trying to look for the light at the end of the tunnel and hoping to hell that somebody will save them. And the only light they're seeing is that freight train that's barreling down on them. So what have our leaders done? We know that AI is supposedly going to take a bunch of jobs. We know that we don't currently have enough jobs. So right now what we're doing is we're throwing our people out in the streets. I haven't heard a story the other day, old Larry Fink, whatever his name is, he's buying a bunch of houses, and then he's turning around and selling them for like 500% profit. to himself, which is turning around and driving up the housing cost. An average guy like me, I would love to buy 30 acres out in the country, put me a walk-in cooler on it, shoot a few deer here and there, just basically self-sufficient lifestyle, because I'm be 68 years old soon. I can't afford it. It's $500,000. When I was working, I could afford it, and I've still got those skills. I should be working right now making anywhere between $150,000 to $500,000 a year. Because I can take anything and fix it. Anything. When it comes to technology. But I can't buy an interview. So my point of all that is, even though it's something I would have never considered in the past, are we even working on some kind of universal basic income? Our people need enough income to pay the basics of life. A place to live, and food, and utilities. What is our plan? None of these politicians are getting off their ass and doing anything. All they're doing is they're making homeless camps. And then they're persecuting the homeless. And if people try to live out of vans or small sheds out in the country on off-grid, they're making that illegal. And it's going to continue, folks, until we have one voice that is loud enough to be heard around the world. Now, Gerald Celente, whether you like him or not, he has an interesting story going on right now. He says Generation Z is rising up around the world. Why do you think that is? It's because you had, originally, let's just look at it. And it's been a long time since I've done these numbers, so I'm probably off a little bit. There's about 150 million jobs in America. It seems like I read there was 350 million jobs in Australia and something like 850 million jobs in all of Europe. So that's 1 billion jobs. But we got 8 billion people wanting those jobs. Do the math, folks. If we give them that job, that means we're out of a job. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's math. It's basic math. No matter how much you want to wish it away or change it or whatever, it doesn't work. So what's our plan? You got politicians like John Cornyn and Ken Paxton and Wesley Hunt and Colin Allred who want to be the senator from Texas. If you ask them, what's your plan for jobs, they all say, everybody that's got a job, everybody that wants a job has one. And if they don't want a job, they're sitting on their couch doing nothing, we're going to kick them off Medicaid and SNAP and anything else because they need to get up and find a job. And if you present them with a math showing that we don't have any goddamn jobs, the media runs and hides with its tail between its legs. So how do we get our voice out there? I'm open to suggestions on that because I've tried everything I can think of in 20 years. It needs to be done. If any of you want to contact me and discuss this, I welcome that.